What's up, guys? So Aaron Watson won the Twitter poll in a very narrow race with Maren Morris. So today I'm going to be checking out his album, Vaquero. I've listened to one other Aaron Watson album, and that was The Underdog from a few years ago. It got a lot of attention because he was this Texas guy that not many people had heard of, and he ended up with the #1 album on the country charts at the same time as this big Nashville executive said, if you're not on country radio, you don't exist. So it made this perfect kind of narrative that everyone was talking about. And that's when I heard Aaron Watson, and I liked him then, and I hope I still like him now. I've heard a lot of good things about this album, so I'm excited to check it out. And I'm also working on the audio, seeing if I can get that to play a little clearer so it's easier to understand. Thanks so much for your comments on the first video. Keep giving me feedback and let me know if you like where this is all going, because I'm enjoying this. I haven't been this excited to do something new in a while. So anyway, let's jump into Vaquero. Sounds nice.
And they called him Texas.
So we're starting right off with Texas.
He went off to war, and you can marry me beneath the deep blue skies of Texas.
Texas musicians, I get that it's part of the whole niche out there, but they sure freaking love Texas. I don't know what that is in the background, if that's like an accordion or what it is, but I like that since the album is a Spanish word, vaquero, you're already getting sort of a feel of that kind of like Tex-Mexy Latin fusion. Just a teeny bit. Yeah, so far it sounds beautiful, this album. Oh, there we go. Got a little pedal steel. I love the light drums, the pedal steel, that accordion, the guitar. It just sounds pleasant.
He was at some shade right beside a live oak tree.
Is a live oak a different kind of tree than an oak tree? Or is it just a not dead oak tree? Because so many people say live oak. Alright, so we're opening on a note that's like, this is an album, it's gonna be about Texas. First song is called Texas Lullaby, the cover has a Texas flag, so this is cool. It's a long album. It's over an hour long, so it's a long first track. It's like 5 minutes. Ooh, this sounds like Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer. Oh, with some fiddle. Man, the instrumentation already, it's like so refreshing to hear a country album with this much instrumentation.
I wanna swing you around the kitchen floor and leave a trail of clothes all the way through the bedroom door.
Getting a little sexy.
I wanna take you home tonight.
Okay.
I wanna feel your heartbeat next to mine.
So this is like the most celebratory song of just like, I want to have sex with my wife tonight that I could really imagine. I mean, it feels so, I mean, already this album, I said the word pleasant already, but this is just the kind of song I want to hear, like a beer in hand, outside concert in the middle of the summer, and I can just see people kind of singing along to this chorus with their significant others, and it's happy. Ooh, that's a pretty descending chord progression. I really love all the instrumentation on this. I feel like that fiddle in the background and all of the drum crashes, everything is lush. Just sounds good. And it's like a very, in a way, like respectful, seducing song. But it's like, I don't want to leave this house. It's not starting in a bar. This song's gonna play so well live. Yeah, that's a nice song. I mean, this album's 2 for 2 so far. That is one thing that I will say about Texas country, is I think they are, they have less qualms about doing crowd-pleasing things, like having fun dynamics and the drums coming out and coming back in. Like, that stuff's fun. Crowds like that, and I like that they're not too pretentious to try it out. Wow, this reminds me of some single. Immediately.
Yeah, these old boots.
Oh, I Hold On by Dierks Bentley.
Just like my last name, I swear I'll never bring it shame. Yeah, these old boots.
It's got kind of that gravelly Dierks sound. So that's a lot all at once. He's gonna remember who he is, and he's gonna walk her down the aisle, and he's gonna stay true to who he is. I mean, it's doing a lot in the chorus, but it's all like a kind of like heart pounding, I'm feeling myself type vibe, which sort of works. It's a little ridiculous, and this is maybe nitpicky, but I'm a little annoyed because boots don't have boots are like the one thing that couldn't have roots, because you can't march if your feet are rooted into the ground. Does that make sense? Yeah, this reminds me so much of I Hold On by Dirk Bentley. Even kind of in the content of it. Like, I'm not going to forget who I am, I hold on. Live oak tree. What is a live oak tree? I gotta look that up. I bet it's like a kind of tree. So it's a song about confidence. Believing in where you're at and who you are and not changing. I was kind of feeling myself during the song, so I like it. Ooh. Immediately we're going smooth. Gosh, this is... I keep thinking of the word pleasant. It just feels like a front porch.
But pride can be 10 foot thick and 20 foot high. I think it's time that we bring in that wrecking ball.
Oh, wreck the pride. That's cool. I like that whole metaphor.
I've got a blanket and a bottle of wine. Let's strip it down and see what we might find.
Wow, so I love that. That feels sort of like woozy and romantic. And, you know, I've written so many bad things about songs like about laying out a blanket by the creek and hooking up with your girl. And I think it's a tone thing. You know, there's romance in how Aaron Watson delivers it. And a certain kind of... Gosh, respect is always the word that comes back. But I feel like this is a tasteful album. And maybe that's me moralizing a little bit, but... It's my taste, and I think that there's something really gorgeous and lovely about that whole chorus. Gosh, it's so simple and open. This song breathes. Everything. Do you notice how much I'm swaying? I notice how much I'm swaying. I would want to see this concert outside. I wouldn't want to be at this concert at an indoor little venue. And there's something kind of suburban about the album, too. We're not dealing with a lot of pain. Everything's sort of confident and pleasant and good and wholesome. That's a little bit who Aaron Watson is based on his last album, The Underdog. I don't care if he does that on every track. Like, comes back with half of a chorus with all the instruments dropped out. It's an effective gimmick. I'm a sucker for it. So far we've alternated of like, remember your Texas roots? Sleep with your wife. Remember your Texas roots? Sleep with your wife. It's a really pretty song. I kind of get little shades of Remember When by Alan Jackson in this. I like this a lot already.
Blue bonnets down a long stretch of hill country highway. Windows down, radio up, riding shotgun next to you.
So it's a Texas road trip, nostalgia song. Got blue bonnets, we got cigarettes. It's painting the scene.
Granny's in the kitchen, smell of fried chicken frying. She's cooking in her apron, singing along with Patsy Cline. Playing ball and...
So that is like, I really am into this song so far. I feel like nostalgia is an easy card to play, yes, but this is painting with specifics. You got Granny in the kitchen. I love that he says Granny and fried chicken, and it's really beautiful so far.
Days have changed since the golden days, and in some ways we've come so far, but I never dreamed we'd trade the American dream for a fancy foreign car. Have we sold our souls to save a buck? Traded hardware for dumb luck.
Wow. So this took a turn. I was thinking like, wow, Aaron Watson is making such dad music, just kind of like happy suburban stuff, and it's turning up the volume a little on kind of like a little bit of commentary there.
Meanwhile, politicians preach while some preachers politic. What we need is lots of love, yeah, lots of love might do the trick.
kind of moved by that.
Anymore.
Wow. That is a... I did not expect the song to go into that direction. Everything on this album thus far has been a fairly kind of safe realm of home and family and Texas, and I loved that it kind of pushed just beyond that narrative and said, look at this world. In my mind, at least, and maybe it's a stereotype, the Texas music scene can be a little more insular and not wanting to ask any kind of questions at all about politics that might ruffle anyone's feathers. And I think that was a really respectful way of doing that, of just saying, what if we just loved each other? What a song. Jeez. Whoa. I'm right there with the mariachi band already. Got the accordion.
This old Mexican cowboy at the bar looked 100 years old.
I like this already. So this is awesome. It's your standard kind of like old timer in a bar giving you life advice song. That's a trope in country that's fun. But this has got the kind of Mexican cowboy twist on it. And it's the title song, and I love this whole vibe. It's the second time he's mentioned pride on this album, and it being a bad thing. Vaya con Dio. I don't even really know what that means. But they say it in a Zac Brown Band song too. It's so open and, again, lush. This album's romantic. Just like Twilight and like the San Antonio City Walk, or River Walk. And I'm glad we got more of the Latin influence. If you're gonna call your album Vaquero, I kind of needed that. This has to be the single. This has to be what they sent to radio. Because you got the like programmed clapping and the very high tempo. It's just very different immediately. This feels way more synthetic than the rest of the album. I'm guessing this is the single. And it mentions radio. So that's usually a sign it's made for radio. It's nice. It's a little checklisty. I get it. I mean, you gotta have songs that are gonna play well in the car, and I could see wanting to turn this up in the car, but this is my least favorite, definitely. You've got the Chevy, you've got jeans, you've got the radio, and the drum machine. I'm gonna look up if this is the single. Okay, it was totally the single. I just looked it up. I could tell. So I'm judging it on a little bit different of a rubric now. It would be a fun single. I'd be excited to hear this compared to a lot of things on country radio, but compared to the rest of this album, the quality that we've had so far, not my favorite. It's got, I don't know, it's like a tense kind of feeling. I don't know if it's like sexy or murderous or adventurous or... Okay, this is weird, but this reminds me of Let Me Love You by, I think, Mario. It's like got a sort of R&B vibe to it. Gosh, the narrative of I want to take you home, I want to take you home, I want to take you home. He's committed to that on this album. This definitely does feel like kind of like midnight in the desert. Damn. Let's break these chains and go down like the setting sun. Yeah, this album's interesting because it's definitely playing with like, it's got sort of a traditional bend in some ways, and then it's got this very sort of sexual side to it. So we got a huge solo section right here. Something I do like about this album so far though is every time there's a solo, I feel like they commit to letting the solo exist. It's not just like a 4-bar or 8-bar solo and then it goes back into the final chorus. They really let the solo be there. So this is a short song. I don't know if it's even going to have words. I'm trying to imagine what this makes me feel like. I feel like I'm in like I'm like a traveler approaching like an old saloon town or something. I wonder if this is going to transition us into a different vibe for the rest of the album.
Isabel brown skin shine like a sapphire in the summer sun.
So we're like already we're in a story song very quickly, and I think that was maybe the point of the track before it is let's transition into this story about Mexico and I guess this girl Isabel.
South Texas looks like heaven when you're down here in this living hell.
This is a cool song. I mean, he's basically imagining what it's like for a young Mexican girl that's living in this chaotic, gun-swept, awful situation, like looking at Texas and saying, "Gosh, that's the promised land." You know, that's really timely right now, and I don't think he's taken a side yet. I think it's smart to frame it in a story song and not get bogged in the debate of immigration and refugees and all that. This is just a cool inclusion on an album that I admit I wasn't expecting. It's cool that the empathy of this song, imagining someone else's perspective, is really cool. Mariano. Her father's name is Mariano. The song before this was called Mariano's Dream. So maybe this is about, maybe that song before is getting you in the mindset of her dad. Yeah, this is a pretty cool song. I haven't even paid much attention to the music in the songs. I've been so trying to follow the story and thinking it's cool to imagine a refugee. But that totally put you in like the high noon kind of running from the law sort of vibe. This album's definitely, I think, named well because I'm totally getting the kind of flirting with the border and a little bit Mexico, a little bit Texas thing that they're going for. A little female harmony. So this is a sweet love song. They met each other in a small town. They're still together. It's kind of in keeping with. I'm starting to get more of a sense of Aaron Watson's vibe, and it's like very faithful and appreciative, and not the edgiest thing in the world. And this is kind of right in that wheelhouse. I don't want to sound cynical at all with that. I think like this feels earnest to me. It doesn't feel so pandering. He's kind of like a master of this. These are really well written, like kind, pleasant songs. It's like Vanilla Ice Cream. That's kind of like how, and Vanilla Ice Cream rules. Yeah, see? So there was a touch of self-awareness right there where he said maybe people think we're behind the times, but I think that's a good thing. So he knows that this is different, that this could feel pandering or feel cheesy to other people, and he's saying, I don't care, that's who I am. That one line made me like the song 20 times more. Ooh, I like this. I want like a milkshake. I feel like very 1950s. It's like a doo-woppy Texas swing. Swinging doors. She wouldn't dance with me because I definitely wear skinny jeans. Ooh, only way to waltz away with her heart is 1-2 step at a time. Great line. This song is so fun. I'm getting like John Party's head over boots kind of vibes. This is one of my favorite songs for sure. And it is kind of a 2-step. You're in that swing. Oh, fun. I wasn't expecting that. I thought we were ending. Cool. So this song is like strawberry ice cream. It's just got pizzazz. I think I was missing that. This is a long album, and so just to have, you know, one of these songs that's just a fun, short little ditty. You need those sometimes. Oh, now we have fiddle and we have piano. I think this is a great song. This song is making me happy. I love that. I love that. I hope that's a single.
We cross that border every Friday night. We sit beneath that old Dos Equis neon light. We grew up.
So this is a song about, I guess, like partying in Mexico, which is funny because it's, I don't know, it's just weird to come after Clear Isabel. That's my first reaction. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I feel like I was called to empathize with these people looking at America and saying, oh, that would be the promised land. And this song's about like, let's go grab our girls and party in Mexico. It just, I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun party song, but I don't know. This feels, it was like, that was like Compassionate Rancher, and now I'm like rich Dallas Country Club vibe. Oh man, see, even when I'm not loving a song, I'm real into when the instruments drop out and they come back in. I wonder if this is the other one going to radio. It's a good line. This is sweet. It kind of reminds me of like a Casey Musgraves vibe. So this is almost like the fatherly version of like what Vaquero was, where instead of like kind of a drunk Mexican cowboy giving like good life advice, it's just a good solid Aaron Watson giving good life advice. It's interesting. I wonder if this song's at all a response to Follow Your Arrow, which was kind of like a more postmodern take of thinking, which is follow your arrow wherever it points. And this one says, you know, stay on the straight and narrow. That's where the arrow is going. I don't know. I wonder if that's Aaron Watson kind of trying to reclaim that phrase, follow your arrow. I don't know. This is really pretty. Here comes the instruments all back in again. There we go. Maybe I'm feeling that a little less as the album goes on. I think this album's just maybe too long, because some of these tropes are really effective, but then you're like, wow, we're really spreading it out over a long time. Fear not the dragon, you are the arrow. You don't hear dragon on a country album very much, so I'm into that. So we've got boots and jeans and walking down the aisle, and these are things you hear a lot in country music. But again, I think Aaron Watson's tone really sets him apart here, where this is delivered so without this sort of like brash machismo that makes me not take seriously some artists that you hear on the radio. It feels kind of cool and nice from him. You're my rock and I'm your Rolling Stone. That's probably pretty true to his life. His wife, you know, he's one of the biggest, most famous people in Texas. I think he just played like to 60,000 people at the rodeo. So he's certainly a huge rock star, but I'm sure there's a patient rock of a wife keeping him together. It would be kind of hard to go to an Aaron Watson concert as a single person, because so many of his songs are really these kind and loving declarations of commitment and devotion to his wife. There's not much heartache. Okay, we're still in the same track, but we're going somewhere different. This is a cool change. I like when musicians sing about their devotion to music and how it's almost like an affair. But he's saying now, I'd rather hold you than hold my guitar. Dude, commitment must be part of like the magic juju of Aaron Watson, because it is such a theme he comes back to. I know we're all very enticed by kind of hitting the road and going on adventures and chasing your dreams and, you know, sexy hookups and all that, but Aaron Watson is so the opposite. Like if Home Alone Tonight by Luke Bryan is this kind of thing of like, I'm gonna have revenge sex and take pictures and send it to my ex. Aaron Watson is like the moral antithesis of that. It's very different compared to most of his peers, and so it's actually, I think, really admirable. Ooh, this feels like a tearjerker. Final song. I feel like I'm like imagining a music video of like a soldier coming home from war and his daughter in a pink dress running forward and hugging him at the airport. This is a sweet song. I mean, you can't get mad at a dad singing to his to his baby. This is going to be played at a lot of weddings. The bride dancing with her father. Called it. Wow. I wonder if that's why this song was... No, I'm not going to be cynical. But yes, it'll play at a lot of weddings. The one that's made you sparkle and shine, it's like... Seems like it's talking about God, but doesn't mention God explicitly, so it could just be for the father, like her father. He's a very smart writer in that way, where he's never so... It kind of reminds me of Katy Perry, honestly, where he's never so explicit that you couldn't relate the relationships in songs to a ton of different types of people, or types of relationships. Nice. Okay, so I just listened to all of Vaquero by Aaron Watson, and overall, I really, really like that album. It's really, the word that I kept coming back to was pleasant. I think it's really sweet. Sometimes it's winsome. Sometimes it's sturdy in a way. I mean, this is not an album that is really pushing any envelopes. It is just... Maybe it's like an oak tree. Maybe it's like a live oak tree, since that's apparently a thing that in Texas we all talk about. I don't have any of those moments on this album where I feel like he took his heart out and threw it down on the track, and I really got to understand his psyche. But I don't think that's really what he's trying to do. He is an artist making broad songs for a broad swath of people, and he's really good at it. These are all fun to listen to. The album's produced extremely well. It's so fun to hear great instruments. On the whole, I mean, compared to so much other stuff that's out there in the kind of popular country music world, Aaron Watson is providing something that's a lot more, instrumentally at least, organic. Now the lyrics, I think that's where I wish this album would just push a little further. Sometimes we devolve into cliches about jeans and boots. I just wish we would get a few more specifics. The moments that really stood out to me on this album are when he said granny. That was so funny to me because it's not a normal thing that you hear in a song. And when he talked about the old Mexican cowboy on the title track, and these little moments where you're actually getting faces and names and descriptions and specifics, those really stick with me, and I wish there was more of that on this album. I wish this album were like 5 songs shorter. I think there's an amazing album in here that's just a lot shorter. And the length of the album kind of exposes some of my issues with the lyrics. But on the whole, I really enjoyed it. I really, really liked the song, the Isabel song. That to me was such a standout. And they don't make them like they used to. It was such a standout because that last verse where it takes a turn, that's definitely my favorite track on this whole thing. And I think the 1-2 step away, whatever it's called, the little dance song, that was a gem. That was Aaron Watson kind of at his best, just simple, pleasant, fun. So on the whole, I really like this album. I'm glad y'all voted for it. I'm really glad I got to listen to it. There's some tracks on here I'm definitely going to be coming back to. And until next time, I'll post some other poll on Twitter of what I should review next, and y'all can vote on that. Maybe it should be Mariano Morris since she came in second. But thanks, guys, for checking this out. I know it's probably a long video, but it was a long album, and I'm going to do my best to cut it down. Okay, bye.